built for my 10-inch skill compound miter saw. Finally got to use it, building the stand. So again, this is all preparation for the floor planks in the Zip. It's all 2x4 construction. It's basically the same design as my skill bandsaw stand, with one exception. It's obviously taller. Now the funny part is, without planning any of this, I just kept adjusting the height of this saw until I found what I thought would be comfortable to work with. And it turns out that the bed of this is 43 inches off the floor. While building the leaf extensions for it, I happened to have the leaf up and noticed that it's 1 inch difference between the working height or bed height on this as it is my bandsaw. So by sheer accident, they were within 1 inch of each other for working height, which tells me that's the height I like to work at. Again, the bed height on this is 43 inches, and on my my little 9-inch bandsaw, it's 44 inches. So anyhow, these are all 10-degree cuts, same as the bandsaw stand. Nothing special. It's all free 2x4s out of the chip pile, out of the junk pile, with the exception of the little fold-out bed extensions. This is some 5-inch tongue and groove, like interior white cedar decorative pretty wood, you know. Smells fantastic. But so it's all 2x4 with the exception of these, because I wanted something thin and kind of lightweight. They're mounted on a piano hinge. They're about 38 inches long each one, so it actually folds out to a pretty nice working surface. But it's really simple. There's just a couple of little, I guess we could call them stops. So this just folds up. You put the stop right on the edge here, drop this into it, and that's it. So that's the little extension, and again, it'll extend this far on both sides. And sticking a straight edge on top of the bed, this is perfectly flat. And that's what I was interested in most, because I'm really not relying too much on this back fence. It's more of a stop to keep things from falling off if I throw them up here. But this height, this had to be perfectly level, the bottom of it. So that's it. It's a cheapie with the cost of the hinge, the piano hinge that I cut down. I think we're looking at $6 or something. Again, I put a little shelf down on the bottom out of some 1/4-inch marine I had laying around, some ply, but I'm getting ready to start some floor work on this. So as you can now see, we have Famo wood filling all of our screw holes, all of these bottom holes, all of the side holes, all of my little brackets, every hole, including up underneath here on these. These have all been filled. Every hole in the boat that has a screw in it has been filled, with the exception of these right here that hold my little floor support blocks in. Because they're so deep, it would just take a mountain of Famo wood to get them filled up. So what I'm going to do on these is, when I sand all of this down and epoxy encapsulate all of the new stuff that I built in here, I will pour that thin epoxy down into the hole and fill them 95% of the way up with that real thin epoxy, just like I did on the Skeg. And that'll seal it. She'll be good to go. So that's where we are, making good progress. Plugging holes. Tomorrow we'll be sanding holes. Alright, well, over the course of the last couple of days, we got all of our holes filled and sanded back. All of them. The blocks up here, all of the holes across the frames, the floor supports, that's all done. All of these floor supports, you can see there's a plugged hole there, there's a plugged hole here. So that's all done and all sanded back. You can see the plugged holes across this floor support, with the exception again of these little brackets, because I'm going to just fill those with encapsulating epoxy. But it's all sanded back, and then it took me about 45 minutes to sweep out and vacuum the inside of the boat to get all the dust out of it. So one of the last things I'll have to do now is get some 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and I'll wipe all of the raw surfaces down. Again, I'm not going to do the top surface of any of this. All the top will still be bare, but both sides and the bottom and then everything below will all be fully encapsulated. And the reason I'm not doing the top again is because I still have yet to put the sub deck on, and I want bare wood to glue to. So that's where we're at, making good progress. All right, so we now have everything that was raw wood, epoxy encapsulated, all of my little blocks, all of the floor supports on both sides, up underneath everything. That was a real pain in the butt, up under there. But that's all done. The carlings, they're coated inside, outside, and the bottom. All of my little corner gussets are now filled and epoxy encapsulated, so those are all done. Anyhow, everything that was raw wood in here is done. All of the carlings, rear seat back support, and they're coated front, back, and bottom side. Again, all of the top is still raw because that's where we're going to be attaching the sub deck and decking, but turned out pretty good. So here's where we are now. You can see I have the actual floor planks, the correct height, and they're not drilled yet or countersunk or screwed down. They're just setting in there with roughly the correct spacing. So I've got basically this rear half done, with the exception of the wide plank on each side. I haven't done that. And then up here you can see I have all of my narrow planks cut for under the bridge deck area. So those are all cutting in, again, roughly. That's a really good fit up here. My flush turned out right where I was hoping. You can see there's a little bit of mismatch between this one and this one. I need to scoot that over a little bit, but again, this isn't their final resting place. They're just all sitting here now. And then up here, I was able to plank this section, which will be from the front of my seat to the dashboard, or frame 4. So from in front of the seat to frame 4 is planked now. Again, with the exception of the farthest outside wide planks. Still have to do those. And this wide plank will run from frame 4 all the way back to frame 2 back here. So this outside one here will run all the way across, covering this section. So that kind of gives you an idea of the empty space that'll be underneath the seat there. But that's where we are. Need to pick up some more African mahogany and cut some more wide planks. And if you look right out here, you can see it's a straight line all the way across, with the exception of this wide one and this narrow one. You can see they're sticking out. Same over here, and that's because they bump into my gusset, so I'll have to notch those out. The very edge of this wide one, and then I'll have to take the width of the gusset, roughly 1/4 inch, off of this one, and then they'll all sit flush all the way across. So there are some custom pieces in here. Right now I'm doing the easy ones, the straight cuts. Of course, all of these, this long one down the side will have a custom cut on both sides. So again, it'll run from frame 4 all the way back to frame 2. So that'll be one huge custom cut on my bandsaw for both sides. On each side back here. This is pretty much the right gap. Until in here, I'll have to snipe the corner off of this one right here on both sides, just like the pattern that was in here. But we're making fantastic progress. It's looking beautiful. Got to pick up some more African mahogany planks and continue floor planking. All right, well, it's officially February 1st, 2016. For the month of January, we put in 11 hours. We're starting to get back into the rhythm after the holiday season. So 11 hours for January 2016. We went up $130.02. Of that 11 hours, 8 of it was on the flooring, and then the remainder went on the epoxy coat up here. So that brings us up to 39 3/4 hours into the floor, and we've still got a good amount to do. This floor is taking forever, but it's turning out beautiful. So the $130 that we went up, that was for 2 planks of African mahogany, another bottle of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, some stainless screws, some miscellaneous paint brushes and things for the epoxy coating. But so that brings us up to a total of 349 hours into the Zip. And that $130 added on brings our total up to $3,438.60. You know, it's kind of funny, for the last couple videos I've noticed for every hour into the boat, it's cost roughly $10. And it stayed that way for about 3 months now, I believe. So every hour I work on the boat costs me $10 at this point. Of course, we're getting close to tax time, so I'd imagine we'll see that that total investment go up substantially in the next month or two. But let's see where we are. So here's where we are. We now have the front floor planks from the front of the seat to frame 4 drilled, countersunk, and spaced correctly, screwed down. Those are all stainless screws, and they are number 8 1.5 inch stainless wood screws. I bought 100 of them. It ran me just shy of 20 bucks, 18 and change, I believe. And 100 will be enough to do this section that I'm waiting on planks for, and this rear section, and I'll have to buy another 40 or so to finish up in the bow and some miscellaneous. Again, the long planks down the side still aren't done. As you can see out here, this plank is not in place. But so the front section is all drilled, screwed, countersunk, and official. It's there. That's its final resting place. And then again, so is the back here. You can see the little stainless screws. I did my best to set up a kind of a production line on my drill press, so they're all countersunk the exact same amount, and it turned out really nice. So this rear section is done, again with the exception of the farthest outside ones over here as well. So it's down, done, official, screwed. I didn't do these little thin ones under the bridge deck because I'm waiting to buy my wide planks and continue that. So anyhow, kind of get a look of it. It's turning out so nice. This floor pattern it's everything I was hoping it would be. It looks awesome. So making good progress. She's starting to look beautiful. So here's kind of a bird's eye view of the Zip and where we're at. And with any luck, I won't fall off the ladder. It is really turning out nice. Such a pretty boat. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Comment, rate, give me a thumbs up. Love reading your guys' comments. And we'll catch you on the next update of building the Zip.